Are you stuck in a rank and wondering how to finally break through and rank up faster in Valorant? Whether you're hard stuck in Iron or pushing to Radiant, this video is packed with essential tips that will help boost your climb. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Lynx, I'm a Mortal 3 player, and today I'm going to be giving you some tips, guides, and everything else you need to know to get better in Valorant. If you enjoy this type of content, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more guides like this. Now let's get into it. The first and probably the most underrated tip is improving your game sense and map control. A lot of players focus too much on aim, but knowing how to rotate, when to push, and how to read the enemy team's movement is just as important. For my first tip, I'd say use the minimap constantly. This helps you track the enemy's positions and anticipate rotations. Make sure you're also communicating with your team to stay aware of what's happening across the map. For tip 2, control key areas like mid or certain choke points on maps like Haven or Ascent. Holding these zones give you valuable information and limits the enemy's options. For example, on Haven defense, you can take A long, not only to get the orb, but also to take a really nice line, either for yourself or your teammates. Maybe your Jet is opping, and after you can just leave him alone on the line to keep the information. But what are lines actually? Lines are basically just straight angles you hold to maintain information about a section of the map. For example, with us or our teammate being in A long, we're holding the A lobby cross, which means unless the enemies force us off the line or smoke us off, we have full information about A long and A lobby, meaning no one can cross the shore either. This makes playing maps like Haven a lot easier, as now instead of having to worry about 2 choke points when they're coming out on A, we only have to worry about holding the one line. Another thing I mentioned was ult orbs. Taking ult orbs on attack and defense is just very powerful. If we have a better ult cycle, that meaning we're able to get more round winning ultimates off each half, having an ultimate advantage over our enemies is very overpowered a lot of the times. It leads us being able to swing the round massively into our favour. We're also denying the enemy the ult orb too, meaning we're preventing them from charging their ultimates as fast as us, and we're also just taking map control and space off them when we're taking the orb. Now let's talk about one of the most important mechanics in Valorant, aim. Even if you have the best game sense, if your aim is lacking, ranking up will be much harder. For my first tip, it's warming up, and all of you should be doing this, no matter if it's a small warm-up or a long one, using aim trainers like AimLabs or Kovacs, or simply just jumping into the range and practicing flick shots, strafe shots, and tracking, or just playing 1 to 2 deathmatches or team deathmatches is completely fine. For the fourth tip, I'd say practice your crosshair placement. Always aim at head level, especially when clearing corners. This minimises the amount of time it takes to land that crucial headshot, giving you an advantage in fights. And finally, tip 5, master your movement. In Valorant, movement is key to staying accurate and avoid becoming an easy target. Always stop moving before you shoot. Shooting while running or strafing will severely reduce your accuracy. Use the technique of counter-strafing to stop your movement instantly, which allows you to take quick, accurate shots without losing mobility. Additionally, just as much as you don't want to undermove, you don't want to overmove either. Meaning, if you're always jiggling and strafing after one shot, you should practice burst firing instead. I also think things like crouching at close range are fine if it's needed, as it helps control your spray, but don't rely on it in a mid to long range fight where you'd prefer to burst or tap fire. Another key thing to ranking up faster is playing smarter and not harder. Focus on mastering a few agents, especially those that fit your playstyle and complement your team's composition. Don't try to be a jack of all trades, stick to 1 or 2 roles, whether it's a duelist, controller or sentinel, and just try to become a specialist at it. This will allow you to play your strengths for every game. For me, I play a lot of initiator, like a lot. I'd say for at least 95% of my games I play like either Sova, Fade or Gecko, just mainly initiator characters depending on the map. And while you don't have to be as hardcore as I am at picking only initiator, it's still good to have a reliable role that you're confident or happy playing, and playing the majority or at least half the time. And for tip number 7, master your utility. For example, using Omen's smoke or Sova's recon dart effectively can change the course of a round. Watch high rank gameplay and learn how pros use and time their abilities for maximum impact. And if you'd like some help on initiator agents, then I make a bunch of videos giving you a bunch of tips and lineups for all sorts of maps and all sorts of agents, so definitely check that out on my other YouTube videos if you're interested in it. Now let's talk about something a lot of players ignore, your mental game. Climbing the ranks isn't just about skills, it's also about maintaining a positive mindset throughout your games. I'd say don't tilt, it's easier said than done, but staying calm and collected, even after a bad round, is key. If you're frustrated, take a short break between games. And trust me, you don't want to tilt queue. Earlier this act, I was like top 2k or top 2.5k, and I lost 9 games in a row because I was just tilt queuing, and I played horrible because I was just tilted and I was queuing, and I just wanted to win. But trust me, I should have called it a day like by the 3rd or 2nd game, and I should have just left it there and played the next day when my mind was refreshed, or I should have took a bit more of a longer break and just chilled out. For tip 9, be a team player. Communication is everything in Valorant, so make sure you're giving callouts, coordinating strategies, and staying positive even when things aren't going well. A good attitude can make the difference in tight games. And this is what I do a lot of the time. Sometimes you're going to meet a lot of players who don't want to comm, or they'll go on insta-mute, or they'll just be very rude. I'd say don't let them get to your head, and just mute anyone who's just being like very rude or aggressive towards you. And just keep comming, even if no one's coming back to you. Like if someone's in the team chat and they can hear you comming, then giving valuable comms about information on where people are, where you want to go, or what you want to do is really, really valuable. So try communicate, and if you're in lower ranks and you're struggling to find people in your games who do communicate, which even in my Immortal lobbies, there's so many like rages, there's so many people who don't want to comm properly. But I'd say in lower ranks especially, you do have like trio queues. And even in like higher ranks, there's always the option to do a queue or 5-stack as well. So there are ways around it. But if not, and you mainly solo queue like me, then it's kind of just something you have to deal with, and it's kind of just a rank experience. And I know it gets really boring and it's just horrible to deal with. But I mean, that's just how ranked is at the end of the day, and we're just gonna have to try ignore it. Don't tilt off it because it's gonna make you play worse, and try your best to communicate. Finally, one of the best ways to improve is by reviewing your own gameplay. It might feel a bit tedious, but it's incredibly effective. After a tough loss or even a win, go back and watch your matches, identify mistakes you're making, whether it's poor positioning, misusing utility, or not reacting fast enough. Fix those errors and you'll see improvement in your next games. Just a quick note though, you will need something to like record your gameplay with. There's no replay system currently in Valorant, so either if you're recording it with something like GeForce Experience, which is what I do when I record my own gameplay, or when I get clips, that's what I use. So you're going to have to find something to record your gameplay with, but after, then you can go back into your files and you can watch it back, and you can just work on fixing your errors and improving, and you can keep it in your mind for next time you're playing, or next time you're possibly about to make those mistakes, and you can just correct your errors. And I think that is one of the best ways and most effective ways to improve in Valorant, is just by reviewing your own mistakes in gameplay. So there you have it. Those are my top tips for ranking up faster in Valorant. Focus on your game sense, aim, agent mastery, and mental game, and you'll be climbing out of those ranks in no time. Also, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like and let me know down below in the comments what rank you're aiming for. And if you want more tips like this, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.